there is now going to be a press briefing by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's listen.
And of course, they will stand true for generations. Even today, Abu Dhabi's investment agency said that it's going to open its first branch in Israel. This is a real peace. Peace for peace. We opened a new era of peace in the Middle East. Iran's attempt and its branches in Lebanon and other places are not going to gain any fruits. We will hit anyone who harms us, and we will elaborate and expand the peace circle with other countries. And I can already tell you, we will see other countries joining in. Of course, immediately after I landed in Israel, I attended to the missions of our economy and our health. On the level of economy, we are talking about another financial aid plan, important for you, the citizens of Israel, important for the businesses. We will give you grants to maintain your employees. We will expand the loans guaranteed by the state. We will give a fixed grant for businesses who are harmed for 25% and more. The Minister of Finance, Israel Katz, will expand on that. We are going to cut in the salaries of the senior position holders because we all have to carry this burden. We are able to do it because our economy is in a better situation than any other economy of the world. And I remind you that in the first wave of the corona pandemic, we were the first to close our borders and to inflict a lockdown. And so this is why we were the first to open this lockdown and open our economy, because of the correct decisions that we made. The severe morbidity and mortality in Israel was lowest compared to other countries, and our economy was harmed less. European economies were damaged twice than the Israeli ones. The second wave of the corona pandemic is hitting now many countries of the world. In Europe, they opened the economy and morbidity went down. And now they're inflicting all sorts of limitations, including local lockdowns. In Australia, they had inflicted a lockdown on Victoria, where there are 6.6 million residents. Of course, the area is way bigger than Israel, but this is what countries around the world are doing. And I estimate that most countries will have to come to the brink of this very harsh decision of whether to impose a lockdown or not, and I assume that many will have to do it. Because I told you, the moment we opened our businesses and economy, it's going to be like an accordion. We're going to open and close as necessary. One of the criteria for the inflicting of limitations has to do with the red flag that the health system might raise, and it did last week. And so we are deciding on the lockdown as of tomorrow, 2 p.m. It is a lockdown, but of a certain kind. We still did our utmost efforts in order to balance between the health requirements and the economic requirements. At the same time, in the past 2 days, we see a very concerning and another very concerning increase in morbidity in severe cases. And so today I had a very long discussion with the Minister of Health, Yudi Edelstein, with Professor Gamzu and other professional experts. I asked them a single question. Is this situation obliging us to tighten the limitations even further? And I have to tell you, this was not a very anxious talk, but it was to the point. It was a very thorough discussion amongst very serious people. And my estimation, in light of this discussion, that this situation of morbidity, and as many experts recommended, might lead us to make the restrictions even stricter. I'm going to discuss with my colleagues, Benny Gantz, and the ministers with the utmost responsibility, but I have to tell you, I'm not going to inflict a lockdown on the citizens of Israel with no reason. On the other hand, I will not hesitate to add limitations if necessary. We're taking everything into our discussions and concerns, and the Minister of Health will relate to it momentarily. My responsibility as your Prime Minister is to take care not only of your health, but to preserve your life. And if there's a geometric increase, you have to understand what it means. It's not only being uncomfortable, it's not only severe cases, it is a situation where even after we added beds to hospitals, after we had added ventilators that were required, even after that, even after adding doctors, nurses, ultimately the teams cannot keep up. They have their limit. And so the number of dead people rises fast, and when it will happen, then you'll come and ask, why didn't you do something? Because it's always easy to look into the hindsight, but the leaders must look forward into the future, and even when you don't see the outcome, you have to ask the harsh questions, and I will not hesitate to make harsh decisions. But I have two important guidelines that never change. The two most important guidelines are, first of all, wear your mask and prevent gatherings, maintain your social distancing until we obtain the vaccine. There's no compromise there. The more countries and populations do it, the less they need to take harsh steps. This is tested and proven, and I'm asking you all to recruit yourself to these very important missions. The two most important things, it's a decision that each one of you must take upon yourselves for the benefit of those you love, the benefit of those you care about, and for all the citizens of Israel. I have to say that I said earlier, until vaccine is found, today, after I had talks with various countries regarding the vaccine and its the process to get there, I believe that we are very close, although it might take several more months until we see the first vaccines, and then some time until we receive them, and I'm working with the health minister to speed this up. But this is something that I can now see happening, something I couldn't say a few months ago. Citizens of Israel, these are days of mutual effort for all of us. And the main thing that I'm saying here is that health and economy are in our hands. This is time for personal responsibility, for mutual reciprocity, because we will win the coronavirus, but only if we do it together. So God willing, we will triumph. Have a healthy and good year. Minister of Finance. Citizens of Israel, good evening. We, the public elect, are committed, first and foremost, to show an example by our own behavior. So I decided that the financial program on Monday is going to start with cutting in the salaries of Knesset members and ministers, just as we expect other sectors to do. Being a role model is the first foundation for mutual reciprocity, mutual responsibility, and dealing with the difficulties we are all going through. We have a security net of 90 million shekels in order to assist the self-employed, the unemployed, business owners, etc. And I can tell you with a lot of pride that this net, the safety net, financial safety net, is working, and I'm personally accompanying the way it's being executed to make sure that everything is done according what was promised. And today the grants are being given, payments are being paid, and all unemployed, hundreds of thousands of unemployed people who are unemployed against their will, they receive for 1 year until the middle of next year the same unemployment payments. And if additional people, because of the lockdown, will need to go on a year of leave, they will receive the same payments, and they know that they have the safety net on behalf of the State of Israel. After deciding to go on lockdown, we, together with the Prime Minister, decided to strengthen and accelerate the financial safety net. It is working well. It can handle these businesses, but we decided to reinforce it in order to enable other businesses who might run across difficulties and limitations to enjoy this safety net. And so in the plan itself, we are lowering the threshold for assisting for 25% instead of 40%. Any business that is harmed and its activity is lowered by 25% will already be able to enjoy the personal grants, the fixed payments and grants that it will receive in order to assist the business. And another thing, any business that is harmed by 25% decrease in their turnover will receive the full participation on behalf of the state in the very expensive property tax payments that they need to pay. This is in addition to working to give the payments ahead of time. In these very days, we're going to give some payments for these businesses on account of the September and October grants that we'll receive in the third step. So it is easier for them. We also ask the tax authority to work vis-a-vis all the people who need to pay their taxes in order to spread the payments. We're talking about 500 million shekels that right now were paid as initial payments, and they are going to be given to the business owners in order to ease things. In addition, we have another important step. We don't want the employers to release their employees, to send them on a year of leave. I was fighting in order to leave private businesses open. Those who don't receive public, they can work according to the purple mark. And so we expect the business owners to maintain your employees. And so we decided on a special incentive, 5,000 shekels per any employee that is maintained through September and October. In the activity in this initial lockdown phase, if you maintain your employees according to a chart that you can see, you will receive a grant per each and every employee, whether it is 80%, 70%, 60%, or 40%, according to the situation of the business itself, so that we can show mutual responsibility and keep the employees at the workplace. I also decided to work and cancel the article of unemployment. We're not going to cut unemployment even if it's below 10%. We increased the loans by 18 million shekels. And in addition, two other things, so that we don't only have financial assistance, which is important, so that we are ready for the market increasing activity. First of all, we're going to have an incentivized plan for professional training and employment. I want tens of thousands of people who are now at an unpaid leave are going to have professional training and perhaps go into high-tech or other well-paying positions. We're going to make use of this crisis in order to better their situation. And in addition, we're going to pass laws that are reforms, laws that are going to encourage the flourishing, so that the State of Israel is ready. And when the health crisis is over, we could once again be a leader in the world in our economy. I'm calling you all, let's go through this crisis together. Each and every one will make sure to behave correctly. If each and every one will adhere to the rules and restrictions, we will not see a corona. And I know that the process is not going to be easy. We will all go through it together. I know it's difficult for you, difficult financially, health-wise, and my role is to back up all the health steps. We can return the state of Israel, and we will, until the middle of next year, and maybe earlier, to be a completely functioning state. The Prime Minister talked about the peace agreement. This peace is first and foremost a financial one. We are talking about a project that we promoted together, and today it is part of this peace agreement, connecting the Gulf to the Haifa harbor, to the state of Israel, with transports and developing our economy. We're working on it. We have many things in the pipeline. We have high-tech, infrastructure, communications. We are going to promote this together. We are looking into a strong future in order to reach it strong, with less suffering, with less victims. Let's do it together in the health front, in the economy front, so that we're all moving towards a better future. And I'd like to take this opportunity and wish you all a good year, to you, to your families, to the whole people of Israel, and to the state of Israel. Thank you. Citizens of Israel, tomorrow, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, all the limitations will be in place. In these limitations, we tried to create balance, to flatten the curve, but also to take care of the financial and economical aspects. And now it's clear that this is simply not enough. We have the numbers of the pandemic, which obliges us to take additional steps. If we look into the school year that has opened, we will see the data shows that since September 1st, more than 700 kindergarten classes and over 30 schools were shut down, and this does not include the red cities where the education system was closed. In the midst of this war, my heart aches for all the business owners who are losing their living, for all the citizens that are being harmed, for the parents who cannot send their children to school. Yes, I also have children at home who will not go to school. But we have to understand, if we don't right now all together take the necessary steps, the virus will continue raging, morbidity will rise, more severe cases will reach our hospitals. We today already have 600 severe cases hospitalized. It's going to bring about more and more mortality. This is a place to say a word for the health teams, to say thank you. They're doing holy work, but they're also paying the price. Not only the price of being fatigued. Right now, 3,500 people from the medical teams are in quarantine, and 1,300 are already sick with the coronavirus. Imagine the additional burden this creates at the health system. We have two ways of operation here. Either we search for a possibility to avoid the instructions of the health ministry or take care of our health. From this harsh situation, we can come out only together, only if all of us remember that the effort to fight the coronavirus is a national effort. It does not belong to a certain sector, to a certain group in the population. All of us together must understand that in this battle, we take care of ourselves and we take care of one another, all those who are close to us. Citizens of Israel, we are at the brink of a new year. I don't think that it has ever been, that on the eve of the new year, I wanted to congratulate and to say the traditional blessing. May the year with all its vices and problems will end, and we'll have a good year. Have a good year, all of you.